Hi, fellow Django developers. Ezekiel here from alwaysdjango.com, where we discuss interesting Django topics that help you grow, improve as a Django developer. If that sounds interesting, like, subscribe, share this video with anyone if you find this video important. Let's get into it. So today we are going to be looking at authentication in Django, right? Specifically, we are going to be looking at user creation, right? How can you create a user in your Django application, right? Then in the next tutorial, we'll be looking at logging in, then logging out, admin panel, Django admin panel, etc. Right? So before you get in, I think this tutorial is like a peak of what like most applications, most persons that are learning any back-end framework wants to know how to create a user. I think it's a very important step while learning any back-end framework, right? So if you have not looked at the other videos like Django Forms, Django templates and template inheritance, Django messages framework, Django crispy forms, right? Because we'll be having a form, I will be styling it. I recommend you go and look at those videos. I'll leave a link to it in the description, and they'll be popping up on your screen as we are going through the video and stuffs like that, right? So when it comes to authentication and user creation in Django, right? Django comes with a default. You can customize things, you can get things how you want them to be, right? But with Django comes with an inbuilt authentication authentication like kind of framework, right? So you can use that. But if you want to do something specific, which I think at a very large instance, right? As a very large instance, what Django comes with already works for you, right? Unless you want something bigger, something more customized, that's when you can look at something else. But in this video, we'll be looking at how to use the Django authentication framework that comes with Django. Then maybe in another playlist, or maybe in another video, not possibly in this playlist, we'll be looking at how to customize Django authentication in Django, right? But for now, we'll be looking at how to implement authentication, the default authentication that comes with your Django application, right? So to implement user creation process, Django comes with a user creation form, right? Again, if you don't know about forms in Django, I recommend looking at the video. It should be popping up on your screen. I'll also leave a link to it in the description so that you can go and look at it. It's very important you understand that before we get into this, right? So if we go to our views.py file, so we discussed applications, right? We said applications are little bits of your project, right? Little bits of a project that we combine together to make your whole application, right? And if you think about it, throughout this tutorial, I'll be looking at this books app, right? We'll be looking at this books app, but now we'll be looking at authentication and user creation. And I think it's actually time for us to create another application and maybe call it the users, right? Users application. So if we open our terminal here, our server is running. This terminal is running our server. So let's open another one and say python manage.py start app, right? Python manage.py start app. What's the name of the app? We say users, right? Because this will handle all the user processes. It will have the user view, the user the user routing, etc, right? So here, after creating the application, let me close this terminal space. After creating the application, you can see right here the application is created here, this user folder here, right? So we'll go to our settings.py file, then in installed application list, we'll come here, we'll add this application we just created, right? What's the name of the application? Users, right? So after that, we'll close this. So after this, in our views.py file, under this users application in views.py file, here we'll start working with the user we'll create a view, a request handling view, right, that creates the user. What I'm trying to say is we create a function and maybe name the function sign up, right? Then intercepts the request like we have always done, we have daily looked at. Then after that, let's return render request a template whose name is signup.html, right? Signup.html. Then we come here, we come to our templates folder. If you don't know about templates, if you don't know how to use templates, we have a tutorial in this playlist. You can also look at it. So we come here, we create that template to say signup.html, right? So after this, we come to, maybe let's say this create books template will just come here, because most things that we'll be needing, we already have it here. We'll be needing crispy forms for the form styling. We'll be inheriting from this base.html and template inheritance. If you don't know about it, check the tutorial. We also discussed it. So we'll copy here, we'll copy this, then we'll come here and paste. Obviously this will not be create book, this will probably be sign up, right? Then what else? So that will be it for now. So if we go back our views, if we go back to this view, we have created this. So if we go to our urls.py file, let's import this. Let's say from users.views import. What are we importing? We are importing sign up, right? So after that we say path, then our path will be, let's name the path sign up. Then after that we say sign up, then name should also be sign up, right? So sign up, right? So after this, let's check our terminal. Our terminal is off. Let's restart it. So I restart my terminal. My terminal is running again. So let me open my application, go to the browser, open your application. Let's make this bigger. So we'll go to /sign up, right? So if we go to /sign up, we see this. Why? Because we have in the sign up template, we have a form. Obviously we have this form variable here. Obviously the form variable is not passed in, that's why it's empty. We have this sign up, this h4 sign up, and we have this submit button, right? So let's also send this to sign up, right? So what we have to do is we have to look for a way to get the user creation form and now pass it into this template, right? So that we can render it out here. So if we go to our view, in Django, we said we'll be using the Django built-in authentication process, right? So Django comes with a built-in user creation form. So to get that, we say from django.contrib.auth.forms, we import user creation form, right? So we import this user creation form. Let's name it form is equal to user creation form. Let's create an instance of it, then we pass it into this template. If we pass it into this template, we say form, right? So the name of the variable is form. Now the variable is also form. The variable is also named form. So in our template, we passed in this form right here. So we expect that a form will be rendered out for us here. As you can see, we can see a user creation form. And guys, we did not do anything. We did not write any form. This is built into Django, right? So we have a space for the username, we have a space for the password. Now this is your password confirmation, right? So if we submit this form right here, nothing will happen, because in our view we have not handled the post request, right? If you don't know how to handle post request in Django, it will be in the description. Go and check it out. It will help you to understand this tutorial, and let's continue. So to handle form requests, you simply say if request dot method is equal to post, right? So if the method for sending this request is a post request, we now say form, we reinstantiate this user creation form right here. We'll say form, then we'll say user creation form. Now we'll pass in the request dot post. Now this request dot post is simply a dictionary of the inputs and their value that was passed while creating this form, right? So just these inputs right here and their value, right? So we'll pass it into this place. After that, we say, if you don't know about Django Forms, please go and look at that tutorial. There we discuss this concept in depth, right? So after that, we say if form.is valid. If the form is valid, we'll now say form.save. After saving the form, let's import the Django messages framework. We say django.contrib import messages, right? So if you don't know about messages, also look at the tutorial link in the description. So messages dot, this is a success message, obviously, because the user was created successfully. We say request, right? After request, we now say user, this is our message, user creation was successful. If I can spell successful, right? So after this, what else do I want to do? I want to return a redirect back to that template, and then tell user that let's import redirect. So we import redirect here. So what are we doing here? At the first instance, we are creating an instance of the form, right? Then we are passing it into the template. Then if a post request is sent to this view, to this URL, to this view handling function, we now reinstantiate this form. Then if it is valid, we save it, then create this message here. After creating this message, we redirect to the sign up, right? The sign up template, that's this template here, right? And we intend to show a message here that says user was created successfully, right? That to output this message you created there, right? That's after redirecting. But if it was not successful, of course, this form has been reassigned. Now this form will be passed in back, and this form will now have error messages, right? Error messages like your username is too common, your username is too similar to your password, and stuff like that, right? So Django, it's nice to know that Django also comes in, this Django user creation form also comes in with built-in validation messages, validation error. For instance, if we enter a username that is too similar to our password, let me say I'll enter a username here. Let's say the username is always Django, right? Then we say password is always Django, and I am confirm password always Django as well, always Django, right? You can see if we submit this right here, you can see that password is too similar than is too similar to the username, right? So Django comes in with built-in authentication, validation errors, etc, right? So let's create a new user. Let's say the username is always Django, the password, let's say user 123, right? Let's say user 123, right? So let's submit. Password is too small, it must be at least 8 characters. This is also an authentication validation process by Django, right? So it's saying that our password is too small. Let's say users 123, right? Then users 123, right? That's obviously more than 8 characters. So if we submit, we are not getting the message because we have not rendered out the message. So if we come here, come under the container, let's come here and say, if you watch the video on Django messages, you understand this. For message and messages, so looping over the messages that was passed into this template messages, right? And for, let's say, and for, if I can spell, and for, then after this we say let's use the Django, let's say Django bootstrap classes. Let's say class is alert, then alert the message dot tags, After that, we can now output the message, right? So let's go back, reload. So you can see user creation was successful, right? So the user was created successfully. Let's try it again. Let's create with another user. If we create another user whose username is Morgan and whose password is users123, the same password, why not? Users123, and submit. You can say user was created successfully. Successfully is spelled wrong, but whatever. So this is it, guys. This is it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'll be looking at, I'll record it immediately after this. In the next tutorial, I'll be looking at logging in process, right? We have created the user. The next process will be logging in the user, right? So after logging in the user, we now maybe have a dashboard, or maybe our dashboard will be this create book right here. So after logging in, we'll redirect the user to this create book right here, so that the user can create book. Then we'll make sure that a user only views books that are for the user, right? A user only views books created by him, right? So we will look at authentication and permissions, right? Authentication and permission, then the admin panel. Then we will look at deploying our application to a server, right? So if that sounds interesting, again guys, like, subscribe, share this video with anyone that will find this video interesting. It will be really appreciated, right? Really appreciated. There is a lot of work goes into making these tutorials for all of us, right? So liking, subscribing, sharing, and stuffs like that will really encourage me to make new videos, for you, make new videos for all of us to learn and develop together. So that's it for me. The next tutorial will be on logging in, a user login process in Django. Take care of yourself. Peace.